of the traits that I learned in the Marine Corps are helping me in acting. And I mean, you got to have tough skin. You got to, I mean, in this business, basically, you're signing up to be told no over and over and over and over again. And a lot of times you're being told no for reasons you can't control. So you got to be, oh God, like as far as the mental game and acting, and it's similar in comedy, your
Mhm.
mental game has to be so on point because just that constant, just someone chiseling at your confidence every day is what it feels like,
Yep.
no, 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 no. So it's definitely those traits of the Marine Corps have, I feel like they've set me up for, just all those skills just carry over so well. And it's so helpful to have those. So I'm very thankful for that. And I mean, it's poured into all areas of my life, honestly. So yeah, I'm so appreciative for the Marine Corps. I always look at the Marine Corps as my dad. I look at the Marine Corps as that's who raised me, gave me some really life skills, that my mom couldn't do. So yeah, Marine Corps always has a special place in my heart. Yeah.
Nice. Um, yeah, I didn't I don't want to pry too much about like any of the more serious stuff in that, so I think we'll just move along. Like, so tell me about like how this sort of dream started of becoming an actor. Like, when did that start for you?
I would say when I was that little kid watching those action movies, I didn't think about it at the time, but I mean, that was literally my every weekend, Friday night, convince my mom, hey, let me rent this movie. So I would end up, we didn't have a lot of money. She'd be like, okay, so you get something from the 25-cent shelf over there, and there's always some B budget action movie that with this killer looking cover on it. You're like, oh yeah, I'm getting that. So go home, watch it. And I would literally all weekend, I would reenact it, pull in the neighborhood friends, maybe some of the neighbors, and I was just out in my yard redoing this movie, and that was my childhood. And then as I got older, I started realizing like, oh, okay, I get it. These people are actors. There's a big production to make all this happen. That'd be cool to do that, but for a kid coming from a small town that doesn't have money, like you don't see any path how to get there. Like, oh, how would I ever get to Hollywood? Like, no, that's so it was a thought and it was a dream, but it was something that just seemed like don't even think about that because
You
that's
can't do that. That's unrealistic or
yeah, exactly. There's no way. So, after the Marine Corps, I loved the Marine Corps and stayed in and still thought about that all the time. Every time I'd watch a TV show or a movie, be like, damn, that just looks so cool,
Mhm.
But and then retired. We moved to Seattle. I started teaching high school, and I taught high school for a couple of years up in Snohomish, and I loved it. But every day I was talking to these kids about their dreams. What are you doing after high school? What are you doing this? And every time I'd sit down and talk to one of the students about their dreams or their goals after high school, I would go back to that small version of me and those big dreams, and then I would just think like, oh man, you never got to go for it. You never got to go for it, which is what got me into comedy because I grew up watching SNL and
Mhm.
stand up. I spent a lot of time home alone with just TV, and then I remember the day. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go do an open mic, and I did it. I went down to the underground, and of course got bumped. But after like 3 or 4 weeks of going, I got to finally go up and get
How
my
did
first
oh,
one.
your first time.
You know what? It was all a blur, but I got laughs. It was not silent. I got some decent laughs. Yeah, most of my stuff was like dad jokes. I think all my stuff at that time was just silly dad jokes, but I got some laughs, but it was a blur. But I remember that feeling when I got off the stage and I left and I was driving home. Man, I had so much energy. I like rolled down the windows. I was just screaming, man.
Yeah,
I was
dude.
like, wow. Like, I mean, I'd never had that feeling before. It was such a just a rush. So so yeah, I kept doing open mics while I was still teaching school, and then the acting thing just started just itching at me, and I still had some money left over from my post 9/11 GI Bill, which is another great opportunity for the Marine Corps.
And how
Started
old
talking.
are you at this time? Like,
At that time, yeah, I'm about 40, 39 or 40.
yeah, you
That
did
sounds crazy.
Yeah, like I guess that's one of the things I find interesting is I think some people when they're in that situation and it's a dream of theirs, like there's a million excuses, right? Like I'm not going to go back and pursue this because I'm too old, or I can't do it or whatever. And like you kind of didn't buy into any of that and started, I mean, you went back to school, right?
Yeah. I talked to my wife, I was like, "Hey, this is what I wanna do," and she was supportive, and I did. I turned in my resignation, my 2 weeks, I finished teaching, and then I think 2 weeks later, I enrolled at the Seattle Film Institute, which is a great school. I'm very thankful for them because, I don't know, some really great people there, great teachers that care, great artists, and I got in that environment. And we were only their, I think their 4th or 5th acting ensemble to go through there because they were mostly on the production side, directing,
Mhm.
editing, producing. So they had just really fairly new into the acting side of it.
It's
Um,
wild being in those types of environments though, right? Like, because I did, a week at Second City, which is not long, but like I felt like I was at like MIT for performance. Like you're just around so many people that are open-minded and like creative, and like you end up just laughing your ass off just being around people. Like you just feel comfortable, not judged. And those they're like creative think tanks almost, like